Friends, neighbors, brothers and sisters, and friends and neighbors and brothers and sisters, I have some absolutely tragic news to report to all of you guys out there on the internet.com. The Real, the third string discount knockoff of The View, is officially not being renewed by the network for season 9, which means going forward on this channel, unless I go back and retroactively look at cringy clips from them, I will no longer be able to do video responses to The Real. And I'm absolutely devastated by this. I'm actually hurt. People have been sending me this article like it's a joke. They've been saying, get woke, go broke. But listen up, people. I am the most affected by this. I am heartbroken. And honestly, this, more than any other story over the past 2 years, has dashed all hope and optimism from me and from this channel. I don't think I felt a loss this devastating in terms of this channel in a very, very long time. But as we go on, we shall remember all the good times we shared together, and in this video, I am going to put out an ode to the real talk and all the fun times that I was having, and that's what this video is going to be all about. And this video is going to be about saving the real, which is why I'm starting the hashtag Save the Real, because we need to get this show back on the air. We need it renewed for 20 more seasons. And before you guys say it's hopeless, I want to talk about another cause that you guys might have thought was hopeless at one time, and that is the Second Amendment. Let me throw it over to the sponsor, and then we'll touch on this on the other side. You guys might have heard reports that Ukraine is adopting its own version of the Second Amendment, but the thing is, it might be too little too late. After decades of strict gun control in that nation, their population is not prepared to fight off an invading force, which is kind of weird when you live to the west of Russia. That's why today I'm happy to talk about the sponsor of this video, and that is Support the Second. What I'm offering you guys today is this really awesome gold coin that commemorates our Second Amendment to our United States Constitution, so we can never forget how valuable it is. This coin is super badass. On one side of it, you have a skull and revolvers, and it says, "The Second Amendment is my gun permit." On the flip side, it says, "Second Amendment, the United States Constitution, and in God we trust." Get yourself one of these coins as a patriotic reminder of the Second Amendment that our founders nearly 250 years ago risked their lives to enshrine in our Constitution. Oh, and did I forget to mention, the first coin is free. All you have to do is pay for the shipping if you want this coin, and if you want to order 3 or more, then you'll pay 3 times less than what this coin sells on Amazon, and you'll get the free shipping. Can't beat that offer. SupportTheSecond.com. Again, that is SupportTheSecond.com. Link in the description.
Welcome to The Real! I don't know what to do with myself. We are back together and we are so excited to kick off season 8 of
baby.
The Real.
The Real! The Real!
That was the intro to season 8, and if we don't save it, the final season of The Real. As you can see, our favorite character on this show was in rare form, and no, even though I've done multiple different videos about this show, I still have not learned this character's name, and it's just devastating in every possible way that this show has come to an end. Now, I've looked into it, and some of you might be thinking, well, this is obviously a case of get woke and go broke, but I can assure you that does not appear to be the case. It turns out the major issue facing The Real is that Warner Brothers feels like this show costs too much to produce. And one of the reasons why the show has gone up in cost is that apparently it's being negatively impacted by the pandemic. This pandemic that has taken so much from us in this great nation has now taken our most valuable asset, and that is people sitting on a panel, women specifically, and babbling about the news incoherently while having terrible take after terrible take, thus producing content for me on the internet.com. And I have to say, I have to be perfectly honest, if I'm being straight up about this, I absolutely hate this.
Hate.
Hated.
Hate.
I hate it.
Hate.
Hate it.
Hate.
Let's get a little more hows and hates in there because we're not going to be able to use these clips very much more often in the future. How?
How?
Hate. How? How? Hate! How? Hate! Hate how? Look, I'm trying to be lighthearted, trying to have a little bit of fun, trying to remind you guys of the good times so that you guys can legitimately help save the reel, because this show does need to be saved, because this has actually become one of the more popular segments on my channel. You guys have absolutely loved every single one of the videos that I produced on these chicks so far, and I thought that this going forward was going to be a thing, so I'm actually a little bit upset that this show is being canceled. While it is funny that the show is being canceled because they're obviously offering nothing new, unique, or knowledgeable to the world, in reality, that was all great for all of us out there on the internet.com, and having these women not together anymore is going to be devastating. It does hurt my feelings. Even though youtube.com actually demonetized my last video where I was making fun of their Will Smith reaction because allegedly I showed graphic violence, aka the same exact video of Will Smith slapping Chris Rock that every single other person was showing on the internet, the same exact video of Will Smith slapping Chris Rock that I showed in my other video that was perfectly monetized. That still doesn't mean that that episode didn't have a lot of your support as well. So it is actually heartbreaking that these ladies aren't going to be united together. Where else am I going to go where they're going to talk about anti-Asian hate and frame the whole issue of black people attacking Asians repeatedly in the United States of America as somehow an issue of Asians being racist against black people? Yes, they did do that. Let me refresh your memory.
So to see that our elders out there can't even take a walk, can't even go to the bank. The Oakland Chinatown Commerce actually warned Asians now, because Lunar Year is coming up, to not go to the bank and withdraw money and put them into the red envelopes like we usually do. To now have a buddy that is younger than you when you walk. These basic tips are now being given because it's not safe. And I'm afraid for my grandmother because she takes walks in her neighborhood, and we've actually made a call to her and said, you have to stay inside, you can't go out anymore. But this brings up a bigger issue that we haven't spoken about, and it's something that I've had conversations with in my family and within our different sectors of our communities of Asians, but we haven't spoken on a bigger spectrum, and I really want to bring attention to this. And it's especially when I saw that 2020 really highlighted how much white supremacy still exists.
White supremacy still exists.
And how much it hurts the black community. It's dangerous to our community when it comes to protecting our black brothers and sisters. But the problem is white supremacy not only feeds off of destroying the allyship with black communities, but it also targets homophobia and hate against Asians and xenophobia. And that, to me, is the problem that we have to now look at anti-blackness within our Asian community as well.
Need I remind you that the story of this video was multiple different attacks by black perpetrators against Asians, and at the time they were covering specifically multiple different instances of black people randomly or seemingly randomly, or due to the fact that they had racial hatred for Asians, murdering those Asians, and they based their whole segment on how Asian people should not be worried about what's going on and about being attacked by black people, and they should be much more worried about evil white supremacy and the evil white racists that are somehow, I guess, mind controlling the black people into attacking Asians. That was the whole premise of the segment, and the most vociferous defender of black people was the Asian chick on the show. Now, while that segment was crazy and absurd in every possible way, The Real did not limit themselves to those crappy woke takes when it just came to anti-Asian hate crimes committed predominantly by black people. The Real also took on very serious topics like the Kyle Rittenhouse case, which is where we get that very famous clip of the lady saying, "How?" And they also perpetuated the myth that Kyle Rittenhouse crossed state lines.
Cross state lines.
Who crossed state lines. He drove from Illinois to Kenosha, Wisconsin. Now, again, he drove from Illinois to Wisconsin. It's not like he was in his front yard And he was approached by a group of individuals who posed an imminent threat to his life. He drove across state lines in a state that he doesn't even live in, and then he crossed state lines with it. He crossed state lines, meaning he traveled across state lines. He traveled there from out of state, who again traveled across state lines.
And they perpetuated this idea that if Kyle wasn't a white guy, he would have absolutely been murdered by the police that night, because we all know by far the only people who are ever taken alive by the police are white people. There are no black people in our prisons, except for the fact that our prisons are, of course, the reinstitution of slavery in this country, and totally for no reason at all other than evil white racism loaded up with black people in prison. How did they get there? Obviously, the evil white racists killed all these black people and then brought them back just so they could bring back slavery in all of these prisons. It's horrible in every way, but this is the only interpretation by their absurd statements that we can take here on the internet.com from these wonderful ladies. But they took it one step further than that, because they then used the Kyle Rittenhouse case to somehow make a jump, make a leap to the idea that Jussie Smollett, who was actually convicted, deserved the same treatment as Kyle Rittenhouse, because we all know that Kyle Rittenhouse, who was held in the most obvious self-defense case ever committed on video for all of us to see from multiple different angles, on a $2 million bond, was treated so much better than Jussie Smollett, who essentially got a personal carve-out deal due to his political connections with Kim Foxx, the district attorney. Jussie Smollett, who ended up going to jail, sentenced for just 150 days, serving 2, and then being let out of the jail pending his appeal. We all know that Jussie got the short end of the stick, and the reason that Jussie got the short end of the stick was evil white racism. Jussie Smollett did a fake hate crime in order to stoke fears of evil white racism, and it turns out he ended up proving evil white racism all along.
And that's my issue. Like when you look at Amy Cooper, who obviously was in Central Park and made that phone call saying that someone was about to harm her, that was a lie. That woman only did some community service, I think it was. Right. And so I'm just saying, keep that same energy for Jussie. You also have Kyle Rittenhouse, who shot 3 people. He's not doing time. Right. Again, I don't agree with what he did, but at the same time, we do have to recognize that there is not equal treatment for this black man.
Look, I'm going to be 100% honest. I'm going to be real with you guys. This is 100% real talk with you guys out there in the audience. I'm devastated by this news. I'm hurt by this news, and I am saddened by this news, and I'm saddened by the fact that I never discovered these women earlier on in the history of my channel, because we should have been reviewing these videos from the jump. Video 1 of AJW should have been a response to the real talk, and now I'm just beside myself and I have no idea what I should do going forward. This is why I'm 100% serious about hashtag save the real, because we need this show on the internet.com. And if you guys go into the description of this video, you will find a tweet from me urging the companies involved to save this great talk show. We need these voices. We need Lonnie. I'm pretty sure this chick's name is Lonnie, and the other ones that are much more annoying than Lonnie, to talk more freely on the internet.com and produce more content for me. And if we can't save this show, if the AJW Nation, if the AJW Alliance, if the AJWs, I don't even know what you guys want to be called, plus I don't support naming your fan base, can't get this done, then we are just a group of individuals and not a family. We're not a unit, we're not cohesive, and we do not deserve the right to something. I don't know where I'm going with this. Hashtag save the real. Hashtag save the real. Hashtag let's all save the real. Tweet it out once you see this video. We need to support the real. We need this show back. And I don't know if you guys want me to like react to older videos. Let me know in the comments, I guess, because I'm sure there's a bunch of gems. I think I've only done 5 response videos to them, and I know for a fact they have awful, terrible, bad takes, and based on me reviewing old cases, I know you guys don't exactly mind when I go back in time to talk about some previous issues that were just funny and needed to be highlighted. Again, save the real. It's the greatest show ever. I'm really, really heartbroken, and we need these women babbling on the internet.com, babbling on a stage for the years into the future. Just like Game of Thrones, it's been canceled way too early after 8 seasons. This thing needs to go to 10. Trust me, George R. R. Martin wants us to go to 10. Also, George R. R. Martin finished The Winds of Winter. That book is never coming out. He's never finishing The Winds of Winter, but let's remind him to go finish The Winds of Winter. Now, with all that being said, I just want to say that's really all I have for you guys today. This video was totally aimless in every possible way, and I'm sure that all of you are as heartbroken as I am about the devastating news about the real talk. Hashtag save the real. Hashtag save the real. We all need to save the real. If you like this video, you can show them by leaving a like. You can subscribe for more content. Follow me on all my social medias. You can support me via the support links in the description box. This has been me talking about the real, going bye-bye. Till next time.